Korea's overseas construction orders are expected to set a record this year. Korean builders are looking forward to the boon. North Korea and Japan are looking forward to renewed high-level talks as the two countries facilitate a long-overdue family reunion. Group 4 Minute shoots to the top of Korean music charts with its comeback this week.
Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Tuesday, March 18th. I'm Luke Clary. When you think of Korean exports, semiconductors and cars usually come to mind. But in fact, it's overseas construction that's been the nation's top export since 2007. Korean builders expect a record number of orders this year.
This 200-meter tall concrete structure towering over the sea is one of the pylons of a bridge that'll connect Europe to Asia. It's being constructed by Hyundai Engineering and Construction. The project cost $690 million and is slated for completion at the end of 2015. The bridge will measure more than 2 kilometers in length and will be built as a suspension bridge in order to connect its pylons with cables. To minimize vibration, its long legs and pylons will also be tied with cables, making it the world's first suspension and cable-stayed bridge.
기술적인 우위가 있고 또 풍부한 시공 경험을 통해서 50조 규모의 초장대 교량 건설 시장에 저희들이 참여할 수 있는.
Korean construction companies are also in high demand in Qatar, where the 2022 World Cup is to take place. They're building the most difficult section of a highway connecting the capital city of Doha to the major stadiums. The section spans over 15 kilometers and costs $1.2 billion to build. The global construction market, where Korean builders compete fiercely with their overseas rivals, reaches $1 trillion. This year, Korean construction companies aim to win $72 billion worth of overseas contracts, the largest scope ever, by using their superb technologies and hardworking personnel.
Subway train operations were halted Monday afternoon after a suspicious bag was found at Gangnam District Office Station. It turned out that the bag was not explosive, but the suspension of services caused significant disruption for commuters.
A bag suspected of being an explosive was found in the Gangnam District Office Station on the Bundang Line at around 2 p.m. Passengers were immediately banned from using the station. At 2:30, subway trains began to pass the station without stopping at it. Special police forces, an explosive detonation team, and a bomb-sniffing dog arrived at the scene at around 3 p.m. The investigators x-rayed the bag. They were put on alert after seeing the x-ray of the suspicious bag. Based on the x-ray, the investigators concluded that the bag contained a detonator and an electric sensor circuit. At 4 p.m., all passengers on the Bundang Line were evacuated and train operations on the route were halted. At 4:10 p.m., an anti-bomb robot was mobilized. A water cannon was used to open the bag. Clothes and iron hangers were found inside the bag. In the x-ray, police mistook the iron hangers as an electric sensor circuit. Fortunately, the suspicious bag turned out not to be an explosive after all. However, the fuss halted the operation of subway trains for nearly 3 hours and caused inconveniences to the passengers.
안전 여부가 확실하게 확인되는데 다소 시간이 걸려서 지하철 운행이라든가 일부 시민의 불편이 있었던 것은 사실이고요.
The national scare was due to the hangers inside the bag. The situation ended at 4:50 p.m. and the operation of the Bundang Line was resumed.
A Korean dormitory will be built in Paris for Korean students studying in France. Its purpose is to provide students with a place to live and a staging ground for promoting Korean culture.
This residential area in downtown Paris is where Park Yun-bae from Korea rents a room. He pays €500 a month, or around $765 a month. Of that, €200 are provided in the form of a subsidy by the government.
파리 시내에서 아무래도 살려면 가격이 학생들한테 좀 부담스러운 가격이 될 수도 있으니까 그런 문제들이 좀 많았던 것 같아요.
Some 6,600 Korean students studying in France struggle financially because of the expensive rent and the lack of dormitories. To ease their burden, the Korean and French governments have agreed to build a dormitory that can accommodate 250 people. The French government will provide a plot of land in an international student village in Paris free of charge, while the Korean government will shoulder the construction costs. The facility will feature auditoriums, exhibition and performance halls so the students from other countries can learn about Korea.
Donne à plus d'élèves et d'étudiants parisiens et français le désir de connaître mieux la Corée.
The new facility will be built in an international village, which is home to young people from 140 countries. Its construction will begin next year to mark the year of Korea-France exchanges and will be completed in 2017.
Icy relations between North Korea and Japan seem to be thawing. The two countries are moving to resume high-level talks amid the warm feelings surrounding a long-overdue family reunion.
North Korea allowed the daughter of Japanese abductee Megumi Yokota to meet her grandparents in Mongolia last week. Yokota was abducted by the North 37 years ago, but the Japanese abductee's parents were not able to confirm if their daughter is still alive.
政治的な問題が絡んでくるような場にしたくなかったので、私は細かいことは何も聞けませんでした。
For Japan, the issue of Japanese nationals kidnapped by North Korea and Pyongyang's long-range missile launches and nuclear tests are thorny and tough problems. The Japanese government, led by Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, has reiterated its will to resolve the issue of Japanese abductees.
拉致問題全面解決に向けて全力で取り組んでいく決意であります。
For the return of the Japanese abductees, Japan will hold a second round of Red Cross talks with North Korea in Shenyang, China, on Wednesday. The main agenda for the Red Cross talks is the return of the remains of some Japanese nationals who died in North Korea. However, Tokyo hopes that at the Red Cross meeting, it can persuade Pyongyang to send living Japanese abductees back to their homeland. Japan is also considering resuming talks with North Korean high-level government officials to discuss the normalization of diplomatic ties between the two countries. The North Korean and Japanese high-level talks have been halted since November 2012. Since North Korea is facing a multitude of problems right now, such as increased isolation and economic hardships, improving relations with Japan will be a good step for the North to overcome its difficulties.
Jinju continues to draw so-called meteorite hunters. The Cultural Heritage Administration is urging the government to impose a ban on taking meteorites out of the country and designate them as cultural properties thanks to their high academic value.
A previously serene village is bustling with visitors these days. They're so-called meteorite hunters, and they include not only domestic tourists but foreigners as well. To prevent the smuggling and damage of the meteorites, the Cultural Heritage Administration has launched an investigation.
문화유치원에서 대책을 세워야 된다라는 이야기들이 나왔기 때문에 현장은 어쨌든 확인을 해야 되고 판단을 내리기 위한 과정이라고 보시면 될 것 같습니다.
The administration has requested the airport, port, and post office authorities to issue a ban on taking meteorites out of the country. It's also considering designating meteorites as natural monuments. Korea's Cultural Properties Protection Act say that geological items and minerals that have a high academic value must be designated as natural monuments. Meteorites that are 4.5 billion years old serve as a priceless material for studying the origin of the solar system.
학술적인 가치가 굉장히 높기 때문에 학계의 허락하에 외국으로 나가는 건 좋습니다만은 저희가 모르는 상태에서 무단으로 방출되는 것은 바람직한 일이 아니죠, 결국.
So far, 6 rocks and minerals have been designated as natural monuments in Korea. They're hard to find around the world and have a high academic value, like orbicular gabbro of Busan. Once designated as natural monuments, meteorites will be prohibited from being taken out of the country, even though their possessions by individuals will be allowed.
A wide range of so-called functional cosmetics are on the market, but the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety advises customers not to get caught up in the fantastic claims of cosmetics ads.
Consumers have a strong interest in the functional aspect of cosmetic products.
주름 라인을 좀 많이 보긴 하죠. 아무래도 눈가 주름이 좀 많이 오니까요.
날이 따뜻해지니까 햇빛이 강하잖아요. 올라오지 않게 미백에 관심이 있죠.
The Ministry of Food and Drug Safety approves only whitening and anti-wrinkle products as well as sunscreen as functional cosmetics. The ministry stresses that consumers should be very careful of the ads of cosmetic products that say These items help treat skin diseases.
의약품으로 오인할 수 있는 표시 광고는 금지되어 있습니다. 질환의 치료를 표방하는 광고는 표현할 수 없게 되어 있습니다.
People are advised to use up the item as soon as possible once the product is opened.
너무 오랜 기간 동안 개봉한 상태로 사용하게 되면 미생물의 오염이라든지 그 제시된 사용 기간이나 개봉 사용 기간을 준수하는 것이 좋습니다.
Serums should be used within 6 months after opening, and for open toners and color cosmetics, the recommended period of use is 1 year at the most. For more detailed information on the safe use of cosmetics, check the ministry's website.
The season of spring herbs is upon us. Markets around Korea are filled with the appetizing fragrance of tasty and nutritious seasonal herbs.
Around this time of the year in Korea, small wild onions called dalle and shepherd's purse can be found in just about every store. They're refreshingly aromatic. A generous merchant offers a little extra to a customer buying a dalle at the Cheongsan Open Market. Mountain herbs dried over the winter also join an array of fresh spring plants.
예, 기분도 좋고요. 날씨가 또 따뜻해가지고 장보기에도 좋고 또 산나물이며 뭐 이런 것들이 많아서 구입할 것도 많았어요.
Merchants celebrate the arrival of spring playing the Korean band instruments and praying for good business at a traditional ceremony.
춥고 눈 오고 이래가지고 썰렁하던 시장이 오늘 이제 개장을 해서 날씨도 따뜻하고 관광객들이 많이 오시니까 한층 기대되고 앞으로 좀 대박 날 것 같습니다.
Spring has come to the Cheongsan Open Market, bringing with it a generous herd and fresh spring produce.
K-pop group 4 Minute shot to the top of Korean music charts with its comeback this week, while Hollywood blockbuster Avengers 2 will start filming in Seoul at the end of the month.
K-pop group 4 Minute has released its 5th mini-album. The title track, What Are You Doing Today, features a lively beat and lyrics that many people can relate to. As soon as it went on sale, the song topped 9 major music charts in Korea. Hollywood blockbuster Avengers 2 has finally set its filming schedule in Seoul. Filming will begin on the Mapo Bridge on March 30th. Other locations include the Cheongdam Bridge, Sangam DMC, and Gangnam Intersection. The Seoul government considers the movie a great opportunity to introduce the Korean capital to the world. The city will therefore fully cooperate with the filming of Avengers 2. Avengers 2, starring Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson, is scheduled for release in April 2015. Songwriter Ju Young-hoon is to release an album commemorating his 20-year career. The album will contain most of his hits. He plans to reinvent the songs by adding some modern touches and having other singers perform them. Indie band Rose Motel has already recorded the first track. The album will be released as soon as the other songs are finished with their recordings.
These days, people spend a lot of their time sitting in front of a computer or fiddling with their smartphones, and the posture can put strain on your back. Let's take a look at the causes and prevention of this back strain.
There's a common symptom experienced by those who work in an office: pain in their backs and shoulders. A woman in her 20s is worried about the pain in her ill-fitting clothing.
치마를 입으면 요즘 좀 자주 돌아가더라고요. 그러니까 척추가 한쪽으로 휘거나 하면 옷이 잘 돌아간다고 하는데 혹시 좀 자세가 안 좋아서 척추가 한쪽으로 휘어서 그런 건지 좀 걱정이 되기도 해요.
Although she feels a slight pain in her neck and back, the woman goes to see a doctor. The checkup reveals that she has a problem with her spine. Her spine is curved from side to side by 17 degrees. This asymmetry can be noticed easily. These days, more and more people suffer from problems with their backs as the frequent use of computers and smartphones puts a strain on the neck, shoulders, and spine.
특히 이제 여학생의 경우 초경할 즈음 바로 직전에 제일 많이 측만증이 생기고 그 시기에 또 제일 진행을 잘 하는 것으로 성장 호르몬이나 여성 호르몬의 이상 뭐 이런 것들이 가설로 나오고 있는데 아직 원인이 뚜렷이 밝혀지지는 않았습니다.
A girl with scoliosis is getting medical treatment to help straighten her curved spine. Her spine is curved to the right by 30 degrees. Luckily, she's not experiencing much pain. A curved spine can hamper growth and cause indigestion among adolescents.
90도로 허리를 구부렸을 때 양쪽 허리의 그 등 높낮이가 차이가 있는지 또는 옆구리의 그 움푹 파인데 주름이 비대칭으로 있는지 성장기에 있는 아동한테서는 척추를 한 번씩 가끔 봐주시는 게 좋습니다.
In treating scoliosis, it's important to detect the disease early on in case there's something wrong with your spine. You can use a smartphone application to diagnose yourself if your spine is curved. There's no way to cure scoliosis completely, but preventing and treating the condition is possible if muscles in the back are strengthened through physical exercises, like swimming or yoga. If you cannot spare the time to exercise at a gym or swimming pool, do these simple stretching workouts at your home.
이렇게 어깨에서부터 무릎까지 일직선을 유지해 주시고요. 무게중심은 어깨, 시선은 천장 바라보시고 마시고 내쉬면서 등뼈부터 하나씩 내려오면서 어떤 척추 사이사이 간격을 좀 늘리면서 내려오시는 거예요.
A towel is all you need to prepare. Bend your legs at a 45-degree angle and lie on your side. Move your arm back and forth. On your hands and knees, repeat the move of straightening and hunching your back. The backbone is the most crucial part of the body. Straightening up your spine is the first step toward good health.
Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. That's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Have a great day.